Hello and welcome to the November Outturn podcast. Coming up,
Treat yourself, kind of hip hop sounding sort of thing. Mary with Sherry. Treat yourself. Yeah.
the kind of Dunnage warehouse, that kind of earth theme.
You know that we're describing Dunnage warehouses, yeah.
Right there.
A Dunnage warehouse is quite Dunnagey, Mads.
Dunnage, yeah. That's the powers of description.
Being mean. I'm totally getting twiglets from this.
Yeah.
What's a twiglet?
You don't know what a twiglet is?
Oh,
I've never had a twiglet.
they're kind of disgusting. I'm Richard Gosselin, hosting again, joined by my trusty sidekick, Calum Lawson.
Thank you once again for having me.
And delighted to be joined once again by Mads, who's been fairly regular on the podcast over the months.
Mads is pretty much covers the host and also guest, because we're going to be getting to know her a bit better today. Might ask her a few questions.
Watch out for Calum's.
Oh God,
Callum's questions.
Not making eye contact.
Yeah.
Making that sound worse than it is. It's going to be fine.
Yes. Lots to talk about. We'll come to the questions, but November, like bumper whiskey time for everyone, certainly the society. It's like all about gearing up for Christmas.
Yep.
Not one, but two Outturn releases in November. What do we call it? The Nipper.
Yeah.
At the
Little
start
Nipper.
of the month. The Little Nipper. And then a more bumper Outturn.
Yeah, big Outturn. Yeah.
Coming out in a couple of weeks in November. So lots to choose from, lots to talk about. We can barely scratch the surface of everything that's happening in November, but we'll do our best. First of all, we should talk about our Christmas box. Can you grab that box, Calum?
This one here.
Yeah.
Have a Dram Good Christmas.
Show it to the good people. There you are. Mads, do you want to talk us through this one?
I can open it.
You can open it, yeah. So Dram Good Christmas is a really good gift for the whiskey lover in your life. You've got 350ml whiskey samples there. They're from all different flavour profiles, so you never know what you're going to get, but you're guaranteed a good dram, and it's available to members and non-members. So limited quantity, get it while you can.
So it's not a set bottle that you'll get with it, it's an assortment of different bottlings.
Yeah, different bottlings, so you don't know what you're going to
So you
get.
can buy more than one.
You could buy more than one, yeah. They'll be different, but they'll
cool.
all be great examples of that flavour profile.
Feels really good.
Yeah. Nice gift. Robust packaging.
Robust packaging.
Yes.
Packaging is very important, especially when you're gifting to somebody.
Yeah. No, it's
I would
nice.
say as well, it's 50ml drams, so you could also split it with a pal.
Yeah.
You know, you could each have 25
Yeah.
mils, and
It's
that's
a good size.
a nice wee nip if you want to share. Not
Yes.
everyone does.
Very good. We also have our winter series, which we're kind of working through. They've been released as a set already, haven't they? And then
They're not
we're-
released. Oh yes, they are. Because I'm forgetting. I get confused
Where
with.
you are.
I'm going Back to the Future.
What your name is?
Yeah, no, I get confused with that sometimes as well. But when we record
What
ahead,
you're
a month
doing.
ahead,
Yeah,
November.
I was like, no, they've not been released.
it's November.
But by the time they come out, November,
Yeah.
yes,
Halloween's
they will have
over.
been released.
Halloween's over.
It's not. I've not been trick or treating yet.
All right. Okay. Well, we're moving on.
Am I just confusing everybody?
We've got M in the SMWS. Want to grab that one, Calum?
Okay.
M for Mads.
Could
Yeah, it could be
Well,
a Mads Christmas.
A Mads Christmas.
What's a Mads Christmas like?
It is an excellent Christmas.
What do you do for Christmas?
I don't know. All kinds of things.
So let's talk about it, have I?
well, tell us what you see.
Well, we talked about this last time. What I see is a very interesting, simple but straightforward, to the point, fantastic
Well, that's
naming.
what you were praising my bottle naming
Yeah,
skills.
it's called Merry Christmas, and this is 8 years old, and it's from cask. It's cask number 121.110.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's actually a bottling that we've seen more of recently. Not this exact one, but it's been very popular. This release from that distillery.
Yeah.
Been selling out very quickly, so there'll be a lot of demand for this.
Sherry
not
cask.
only because it's sherry, special limited edition bottling. First, it'll only be available as part of the whole winter series collection. I think eventually they will release them individually.
Yep.
But yeah, that's a good one to get for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely. Get that in time for yourself or for potential gifting as well.
Yeah.
And then obviously we've got the Hogmanay bottle coming out as well. So that's one to look forward to. Get all four, because we've got the Burns Night bottling coming out for January.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So lots of stuff for Christmas. November is also sherry week. We love our sherried whiskey.
Certainly do.
So we thought we'd pick out a couple of bottles to sample. This is, well, you want to go with this one, Mads?
Sure, yeah.
Crack it open.
Marry with Sherry, cask number 35.340.
Also a favourite, Distillery 35, isn't it?
It certainly is. I've got a few bottles, and one of my all-time favourite bottlings from SNWS is from distillery number 35.
Yeah.
It was called Elgin Marvels.
Oh,
Oh, that's
Yeah,
a great
I actually
jam.
got a bottle at home, which I haven't. I tried it, and then I bought a bottle, but I haven't actually opened it. And I'm just going to wait. I don't know.
Calum, you need to open that.
Yeah, I don't know. I just one that I feel very
yeah,
strongly about.
yeah. Right.
I've got no one to share with. I've got some lovely wee collection at home, but I never really. This is going to sound like a bit no pals, but I never really have friends over to drink whiskey with me.
I really have friends.
I guess our invite went missing in the post.
Well, you can come over if you like, but it's tricky because of
You live in the back
I've
of
got,
beyond.
I've got, well, not well.
I don't know, I live
We're not
further
we're
out
not
than
too-
he
We're not
does.
too far away actually, but
We're practically neighbours.
I guess just having young kids, it's not so, and not really
You could stumble along the Dodside Road.
good. That'd be a dodgy walk home, wouldn't it, through the country fields,
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
it would.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that my wife will take the girls away just for the night, and I'll be able to invite people around for
Alright, look
for a
forward-
whiskey session.
Look forward to the invitation.
Whiskey
Callum.
empty.
Exactly, yeah.
I could cycle home downhill on the road from yours.
Yeah, I'm not sure that'd be a good idea.
No, probably not.
No.
So, 16 years old, 35.340, Mary with Sherry.
Mary with Sherry.
Yeah, from
Mary.
ex-Bourbon
Mary.
Hogshead
Mary.
Marry with Sherry.
Mary with Sherry.
to a first fill ex-Oloroso Hogshead. Yeah. The tasting notes say, I don't know who was writing this, treat yourself. You see that? Treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
Woofed. I hate when that happens when you take a sip and it's like, oh yeah, cask strength. Treat yourself. Yeah, that's like kind of hip hop sounding sort of thing or something.
Sounds like it.
Or Americanized.
Yeah.
Mary with Sherry. Treat yourself.
Treat yourself for Christmas with Mary with Sherry. Yeah, Sherry week in November. So we're kind of celebrating that as well. We've had a whole year of Sherry.
We
though,
have
really.
had a whole year of Sherry.
Sherry is always, it's just one of those things that's
Oh, brilliant Christmas drama.
yeah.
Yeah, and you talk about rancio as well, and I wrote this down because it's one of those terms that you hear thrown around a lot with sherried whiskey. But when I first started with the society, I was like, what is that word? And what does it mean?
Yeah, good question.
Because there are words like ester or hessian. Hessian was one of those where I had to actually figure out what it was. Because we call it
Splash.
Why not?
burlap in America.
Yeah.
So,
Hessian.
yeah, but rancio is one of those ones. It's hard to describe. So I did a bit of like research before we sat down, and you know, it's actually a term used for cognac. In terms of longer aged cognacs, but in the meantime, it's also been used to describe Dunnage warehouses, which, if you've never been, is quite a distinct smell.
Certainly is.
Yeah. It's like, what did he describe it? Like a kind of mushroomy smell, right?
It's earthy.
Earthy, kind of Dunnage warehouse. That kind of earthy.
You know that we're describing Dunnage warehouses, yeah.
Yeah. But you get
But
mushroom.
you call it a Dunnage warehouse is quite Dunnagey, Mads.
Dunnage. Yeah. That's the powers of description.
being mean to Richard.
So I've just said, you know, term used for cognac, which Dave Broom writes about on ScotchWhiskey.com. Good article. But what would you, if you had to say something about it?
Twiglets.
Twiglets. That's rancio for you.
You know, we were talking about this recently about like the flavours that you get from sherry, sort of strong sherry casks. And I was picking up on I was like, I really wanted to say twiglets, and somebody else was like, they were about to say it, and I was like, were you going to say twiglets? And I was like, I'm totally getting twiglets from this.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't really know what twiglets.
Yeah.
It's that kind of savoury. It's got a kind of savoury kind of quality to it.
Kind of marmitey.
Yes, it is a little bit like that. But do you know what twiglets are made with? Brewer's yeast. So there's definitely going to be a bit of a.
Yeah.
What's a twiglet?
You don't know what a twiglet is?
Oh,
I've never had a twiglet.
they're kind of disgusting.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it like a crisp?
It's like oh god, how do you describe it? It is a crisp.
Savoury.
It looks like a stick, like a branch, almost like a tiny little branch.
Okay.
You know, like 'cause it's
Yeah.
they're always kind of they're not straight. It's not straight,
Right.
and they're brown and they taste very savoury. They're a bit
pretty
like
disgusting.
a bit like how Marmite is not for everybody. It's got that kind of.
Do you get them in like the crisp section of the supermarket,
I think you would.
or with like nuts?
There used to
or-
be a kind of
Snack.
popular sort of dinner.
Like in the
The drinks,
1970s?
yeah, exactly. In the 70s, it'd be like, oh, I don't know, were they ever?
Like a twiglet.
It was like a twiglet. We've also got after eights for later.
Yeah.
Okay, I know what those are.
So I wondered why you looked at me like when you were going twiglets to say I was talking rubbish, but it's because you have no idea what they
I
are.
have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
What?
No, that's a good one, Callum.
Aye. Well, occasionally I come up with them
Yeah.
by
Occasionally.
accident.
Yeah.
What would you say? What kind of how would you compare the term rancid to something else that's a bit more relatable?
maybe older perfume.
Okay.
Like sometimes you have a perfume that you've hung on to for a while and you spray it out of the bottle and it's maybe not, you can still kind of get the scent, but it's distorted almost.
Yeah,
And it smells like it's maybe been sprayed on a scarf or something and left for a while.
yeah.
Kind of musty, yeah?
Musty. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I would describe it. But also,
I mean, I could be completely wrong, and then maybe
Fusty.
rancio is more fusty, more musty than what I'm thinking
Yeah.
about.
yeah,
I'm talking more about just something that I do get from quite often from sherry.
I'm thinking mushrooms, though.
Mushrooms.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, it's a good thing.
Glad to see we're all on
It's
the
a
same
good thing.
page here.
Old perfume, mushrooms,
Twiglets.
twiglets.
I think it was the chances are
Dunnage.
Mads' suggestion is probably going to be more accurate than ours.
Oh, I don't know.
A Dunnage.
I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember what the
Right.
rancio relates to.
Right, we've got a lot to get through. We're stuck on twiglets here. Let's
Just brought some.
let's go with this from
Oh,
Distillery
are we
41.
opening this one?
Yeah, we're opening this one.
All right, I'm gonna.
Crack it open.
I'll just put my glass on the floor then.
It's another sherried dram to celebrate Sherried Week and also to get some of those Christmas flavours. It's from Distillery 41, which, we're doing a wee series in Unfiltered
Is it bad if I just drop the rubbish on the floor?
where we're celebrating some of the lesser known, unsung
I'll give this
hero
one to you,
distilleries
Medlin.
from around
you.
Scotland. And I think Distillery 41 falls into that camp.
Yeah.
You might not know
I'll do that. Yeah.
that much about it. It doesn't have a visitor centre. It's kind of under the radar,
Yeah.
but it's fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
You also don't see it in single malts very often because it's
No.
usually a component in blends.
There's-
Yeah. It was quite often one that I would recommend to people. You'd have members coming into the venue and asking for something that was sort of full on, a bit more robust, and they might mention a few different names.
Yeah.
Someone like Mortlach or
Yeah.
Craigellachie, which is obviously a bit more sulphury or whatever. But it kind of falls into that sort of category a little bit.
I mean, it's prized as a component for Johnny Walker, right?
Yeah.
Because of its depth and its robust nature, its oomph. It really adds that to as a component in blends.
So I bet
But as a single cask, it's just fantastic.
it's
isn't it?
fantastic. I
Very
love it.
meaty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got that kind of meaty quality.
Yeah.
So I better tell everybody what it is.
Yes.
So this is distiller number 41.179.
Show the people, Calum.
Ba-ba-da. Made our mouths water. It's 14 years old. This is a Speyside, and it is bourbon, and then on to first fill ex Oloroso hogshead. It comes in at 57% bang on.
Yeah.
And this is the deep, rich, and dry fruits. Not flutes again.
Deep rich and dried flutes.
Flavor profile.
And they don't use worm tub condensers, this place, but they don't have as much copper in their
That's 'cause,
shell and tube condensers, right? So it doesn't get as much copper contact, so it's not getting stripped out quite so much of those heavier notes.
Yeah.
And it's also quite a rapid distillation, I think.
Yeah.
So that is really how you end up with a spirit which does have that kind of full-bodied.
It does what it says on the tin without having a worm condenser.
Yeah.
And because we use a coding system, we don't have to have a debate over how you pronounce this name.
No, because there is some debate about it.
There is some.
I didn't
debate
realise there was a
about
debate
it.
about it. I've just
Well-
been pronouncing it the way that I pronounce it.
I spoke to an academic
Yeah.
a while back, didn't you, about Gaelic whiskey place names and how to say them.
Yeah, Jake King.
Yeah.
So he's written a book called The A to Z of Whiskey Place Names. Totally interesting, well, a book of stories basically about many different place names. One's mainly related to whiskey, and it's just the origin. You know, sometimes it's about urban legends, folklore, things like that. But quite often,
It's like local dialect as well, like sort
Yeah.
of colloquialisms. Because I mean, you know, I think it's weird when you think about Scotland how different the accent is, even and even from Glasgow to Edinburgh, it's a very short distance.
Well, it's the same in Gaelic, right?
Yeah.
Different islands
Yeah.
have got very different forms of Gaelic.
Yeah.
So I think Islay, you know, I'm not a Gaelic speaker, but we take the pronunciation of the Gaelic speaking population of Islay,
Yeah.
which, you know, like Bruichladdich,
yeah,
where I think a Gaelic speaker from somewhere else in Scotland might not say the word the same way.
it would be Bruichladdich, like with an ich at the end, because that was one of the ones that came up when we were talking about it.
I didn't.
So
I
that's
actually
just-
never knew that. I never thought about pronunciation in
yeah.
Gaelic before being different.
Well, it's like, you know, you're saying
Yeah. It's just the same thing. I get
Yeah.
that.
different accents in English. It's the same thing in the world of Gaelic. And
Yeah.
that,
I
always thought it
that
was-
affects how we say that.
Do you think that, speaking about accents, that happens all over the UK, right? You can think about Liverpool and Manchester, also very close together, and all different parts of the UK.
Right.
Was that Liverpudlian or was it Manchester? I heard it was
Jury's
high.
out on that one.
Right, mate. Yeah.
Don't know. I don't know. All right, mates. All right, mates. How are you?
Right, right.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
Right, just offending people now.
What
It's
was
okay
the,
when you
what
do
was
it,
the-
not when I
what
do
was
it.
the question?
I was talking about like bigger countries like America. It doesn't seem, obviously there's differences in accents, but it's over a much bigger distance. Whereas I just find it so fascinating that we're such a small island here, and the accent changes so quickly.
Yeah, but place names also come back to, you know, navigation, and that's what they were used for. You say to somebody, I'm going to meet you at the Black Rock. That becomes the name of the place, which then becomes the name of the town as the town springs up around it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what Jake goes into in his book. And it's so fascinating because there's plenty that have nothing to do with it, and he points those out, but there's also some that go way, way back, and it's just not entirely clear. So there's a lot of research that went into his book.
So Mads, we can't say the name of this distillery. 'cause
Yes.
that's
But there's
not-
also
that's
an
not what
article
we do.
about a distillery.
There is an article about this distillery
Yeah.
in the November issue of Unfiltered, but what is the name in its English translation from Gaelic? What does it mean?
Oh, it means...
I knew she knew the answer. I'm
I
not
did
just
prepare
We're
this.
pretty mean with it, didn't know the
I'm
answer.
not just putting her on the spot with some
It
random Gaelic
means
name.
Ewan's dull.
It means the green riverside meadow.
Of course.
Right. Very good.
If it, yeah, there's some. You need to read Jake's book to read what he says about it.
Right. Very good. Well, speaking of Distillery 41, we've got another bottling. We're not going to open this one, but a kind of slightly younger, 14 years old, 41.180, 2-stroke engines and wood-fired pizzas. And that's also ex-bourbon hogshead into first fill ex-Oloroso hogshead. So a nice duo from a distillery that starts with the letter D.
And a good gift for the pizza lover.
Now
in
he's
your
giving
life.
away the first. It's like he's playing hangman or something.
Yeah.
That would be a game for the podcast.
Yeah, it could be.
So yeah, but there's quite a lot in the deep, rich and dried fruits flavour profile available
Yeah.
in November. Perfect Christmas drink.
Well, we're kind of spoiled, I think, because I remember a time when I first joined society, and I think, you know, obviously in whiskey you've got to plan so far ahead, and there was a real demand for sherry casks, and it was they were harder to come by
Yeah.
because they were selling out a lot quicker.
Yeah.
But since then, the SMWS has put a huge investment into
Yeah.
sherry casks, procurement and maturation, and you know, we see a lot more of them coming through, which is great to see.
Yeah, and storytelling as well. You know, it's been a year of sherry stories. We've had the Scotch and Sherry Flavour Odyssey documentary, which was good fun.
That was excellent, yeah.
Very hard work, obviously. So yeah, lots to dig into because it's a great world to explore and kind
It's
of.
a fascinating crossover, isn't it, between
Yeah.
how important the cask sourcing is. You know, you think
Yeah.
about bourbon and you think about sherry, and just the fact that it's a kind of like, you know, sherry. See, for example, it could come from well, sherry comes from Spain, obviously, but then we use lots of casks from all around the world. And,
Yeah.
you know, just that sort of fusion of historically of like cultures and
Yeah.
the process, and it's
Yeah.
quite interesting.
Yeah.
And it just shows you as well how important wood management is to whiskey
massive,
on the
yeah.
whole. It is such a big part of any whiskey business.
Yep.
Correct. Right. We have a new offering from our Vaults collection series. Madge, you want to talk us through this one?
Yeah, sure. Nostalgia was better in the olden days, so it's cask number 46.150. It's a Speyside whiskey, 51.3%, 31 years old, initially in an ex-bourbon hogshead and then in a first fill ex-Oloroso barrique. So sounds pretty wonderful. Kind of
Yeah.
wish we were cracking this one open.
Yeah.
Sadly not.
Yeah.
I could save the special ones.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think, you know, nostalgia, great word, homecoming, pain, obviously Greek words originally, and then that word didn't really come into existence until the 17th century.
What word? Sorry.
Nostalgia.
Nostalgia.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I went to a marketing society event recently and we were talking all about the trend of nostalgia in marketing.
I hear it was better in the olden days.
That one took a minute. Yeah, yeah, got there though. But yeah, so this one is coming out this month, but there's also plenty of other Vaults collections that you can
Yeah.
take a look at. I've done a feature on it this month in
That's right.
Unfiltered.
I love a 46.
Yeah,
You
you've
love
done
a 46.
a nice kind of yearbook approach to the Vaults collection bottlings from 2024, and kind of giving them a different. Each one's got a different title. Yeah.
Yeah, different superlative. I think sometimes you look at Vault's collection and it would be very easy to say it's just very nice old whiskey. And it is. But there's a lot more there in terms of storytelling and especially with some of them. One of the ones that I got to work on at one point was Espresso Romano. And we took that whiskey and we put it in 3 different serves. So neat, in an espresso, and then in a Rob Roy inspired cocktail. And when you look at that, you can kind of see all of the elements of its age, of its maturation, of its flavours. So it's definitely worth taking a look at, especially if you're wanting to buy yourself or somebody else a very, very special Christmas gift.
It's kind of crazy when you think about the age that the whiskey gets to. You know, obviously some older than that, but like just anything being 30 years old.
Yeah.
Is, you know, it's pretty special that the amount of life it has had to go through to get to this point. And
Absolutely.
it's been sitting there.
And I don't know how much we can say, but there might be some changes coming to our older bottles in 2025. Don't want to give too much away, but you know, if you want to grab your Vaults collection bottlings while you can, then now's the time. I think that's as much as I can say.
Yeah, I mean,
You
it's
sound a
such a
bit sort of
moment.
doomsday sayer there. You're like,
No, it's all good.
change is coming. No, change is coming.
I think what Richard's trying to say is Vault's collection, it captures a very distinct, fleeting moment in time. And like all of our whiskies, but there's lots of them, got to get them all you can.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to keep things fresh and mix things up a little bit. So, and that's what we're all about, and that's what we plan to do.
Right, Calum, talk us through that.
This is a bottle, and it has appears to have a kind of amber nectar liquid in it.
So we've got a bottling from Heresy, our small batch series, coming out in November. We do not have the bottle.
Yeah, do
of
not
the
worry.
line
This
yet.
is not how we're going to be selling it.
No. We've got a sample from downstairs, but we don't have the bottle to hand. I think, well, for us, next week it will be done.
Because
We can't show off the bottle, but we
It's got
can.
a great label though.
we can
because we're actually
sample.
sitting here at the warehouse.
We're
So
sitting at the
we can.
warehouse.
Someone's got
Yeah.
this ready for us.
So yeah, straight out
go.
the tank.
I'm glad actually, because I was really hoping to get to try this one.
Yeah.
Did you say what it was called yet?
No. What's it called?
Oh, I can't remember.
Gastronomic Fusion.
Oh, am I getting one?
Yes, you are getting one.
Thank you.
Sorry, Calum.
Gastronomic Fusion. You can tell us about the word gastronomy. Lads, you're the
I did
expert
not
in
look that one
linguistics.
up in advance.
But it's to do with food, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very well done, Calum.
Well,
Although not in. Yeah, no, never mind.
Yeah, a fusion of foods.
Oh, hold on a minute.
So,
sorry, I've dropped something.
gastronomic fusion.
Be right with you guys. Just hold on a second.
What's it done now?
I've dropped something. Where's it gone? Oh, here it is. Oh, here we go. I've just Fancy a wee nibble.
Oh, oh, nice touch.
This is just, well,
What he's up to.
What?
it was further, it was stashed further back onto the sofa than I remembered.
Oh, nice touch, Calum. Right, is this for our gastronomic fusion?
No, that was a lucky coincidence because I'm just hungry.
Small batch release.
Can you hear this crinkling on the microphone? Is it when you're
That's
talking?
okay. Adds a bit.
What if I
of
do it like this?
this?
I can't actually open this.
Batch number 27
27.
in
Yep.
our small batch heresy series. Don't like to do the air quotes, but that's kind of how we refer to it because it's heretical for us to do anything that's not single cask or one cask that's gone into another cask. This is a small batch. I think maybe how many casks? 10? Not sure.
Not sure.
Don't quote me
It's not
on
a single cask, but it's still a fairly
Yeah.
small batch.
it. Yeah. So
Oh,
Peated single grain whiskey.
well,
Yeah.
this is a smoky and mild cheese, so
yeah.
Well, the tasting notes say sweet, savoury, and smoked.
what would you like about it?
Um,
She wants to say no, but I can
I do
understand
want to
why.
say no, but I feel like just because
Peer pressure.
eating on cameras. I don't
Oh.
know, it's kind of like
We'll cut that out. Don't worry, man.
you won't cut it out.
We will cut it out. Do you just want a little bit?
Yeah, I'll have a little bit.
You can tuck it in behind the
I'll just turn away.
That's tremendous.
So whiskey's always great for pairings. I honestly did not put any thought into an actual pairing or anything like that, but I just thought it'd be funny to have a wee nibble
But it's a nice
stashed
combo.
away. But just so happens when it was the name of it, I thought, well, now's a good time to pull out the cheese. And you said it was lightly peated,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
cheese is
Yeah.
mellow and smoky.
Yeah, it is. It's a really interesting whiskey, this, because it's a grain whiskey, but it was created with malted barley, which went through a column still, right? So very different in terms of its production. And I think it was a combination of peated malt and unpeated malt. So it does have a very gentle bit of peat
It's actually lovely.
on the nose, and it's there on the palate, but it's not dominating.
It's quite
is it?
different, isn't it? I'm not sure I would get that it was a grain whiskey like straight away.
No, it's not your traditional grain.
But it does.
whiskey.
It does have a lightness to it.
Yeah.
But maybe it's the combination. Maybe the peat helps with that a little bit as well.
That's fantastic. But it's really experimental. And I think that's what the Heresy series is all about for us, to have the chance to try something pretty different, marry some different casks, use some different wood. I think this was a combination of first fill and second fill bourbon hogsheads. So putting some of the spirit into one cask, then another cask.
And have you seen the label yet?
Not
It's
seen it.
beautiful.
You have. I've not seen it.
It's beautiful.
I think.
No.
But they always have really striking sort of graphic pictures on the front of the
Yeah.
bottle, and they just really stand out. From you can see the other ones here, like our underwater barbecue and our scarlet marzipan and things like that.
Yeah, the last time I was on the podcast, it was Citrus Reveries, and I love that label, but also that dram is just cracking.
They're great.
They're always good.
Good fun.
They're always good. The price point is always very approachable. £45 for this. £45.
Trying not to burp on.
Please, control yourself.
Says the person who brought cheese and crackers. Crackers?
Oatcakes.
Oatcakes.
Julian has written up a nice piece for November to explain in much more
Matt
detail.
is just holding.
Come on, lad.
You just held it the whole time. You're refusing
No,
to
no,
eat
no,
it.
I have had some. I just
Have
don't
you?
want to sit here and munch away
No,
on
no,
the
no.
rest of it.
Okay. Richard's not shy. I'll have one more bit.
I'll
stuck in.
finish
Get
after.
stuck in.
I will.
Julian's written a really nice piece in November which explains everything you ever wanted to know about gastronomic fusion. All the detail is in there. Yeah, so check that out in Unfiltered. And yeah, look forward to
It's
seeing
actually
the bottle.
perfect to have with food because it is so light.
Yeah,
One for the Christmas canapes.
I could kind of start the night.
good shout, Callum.
I'm not bringing food every week.
Oh,
Yeah, I was going to say, you know you have to do this every time now. Yeah?
right.
I just want to see your reaction when I pulled out something.
I did
Okay.
wonder what you're...
Yeah, Richard didn't seem too phased. I was hoping for more of a kind of what the hell are you doing?
What are you doing? Well, let's pick out some of the more, I guess, affordable whiskies that we've got in the Outturn. Let's see. We've got G15 27, £50. All right. What else have we
And
got?
is that 9-year-old bourbon cask, is it?
39.28.
Tell us about this.
Ice cream parlour on a sunny day. 39.262, 10 years old, second fill ex-bourbon barrel, and this one is £50. Great gift whiskey, but also would love to receive this as a gift.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Do you want to tell us something about that, Calum?
Are we opening any more?
No. No.
What if I just opened it?
I have to throw you out.
11.44 wine and pine. This is 8 years old. It's from the juicy oak and vanilla flavour profile. And it is a first fill ex white wine barrique, so something a wee bit different. I'd actually really like to open this one.
Yeah.
But I'm not.
£59 for that. So.
Oh, I've dropped something again. Hold on. Here we go.
God, no. Oh, wow. What's that?
Grab one of your whiskies from before. I would maybe go with one of the
first ones, the sherry ones.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's I think it's biscotti and caramel donut.
Oh, wow.
Are you guys
Spoiling us, Callum.
Oh.
Is this our pre-Christmas treats?
Yeah.
Oh,
Post-Halloween?
that's
you've
so
got to-
sticky.
Yeah. I went for something really decadent and messy.
Covered in crumbs, yeah. Right, very good.
I know my notes are very crumbly just now.
Imagine the vaults collection with this.
It is quite, yeah. Well, I've got a big bit here. I'm not sure I'm going to eat it on one bite, but give that a go.
Oh, that's good.
Oh. Get some whiskey in.
That's delicious. I don't speak near my film ads.
What?
A guy just did.
Oh, the caramel. Just hits the spot with the whiskey, doesn't it?
Oh, that's very good.
Very good. You get anything else under there?
No, that's it, I'm afraid.
Jeez,
I mean, I'm kind of did it for a bit of a laugh, but that's what I do. This is what I do at home. I'm having a couple of drams. I love it.
hide food under the sofa.
She's lost it. Yes.
This is what I do at home. Can you imagine being Callum's house? Hang on a
Do you
second.
I
hide
love-
it from your kids? Because that'd be really cruel.
I know that you want to try whiskey. You shouldn't really have. Well, there's one way of looking at it. You wanted to appreciate the whiskey like fully by itself without any other influence, but also it's really good to pair it up with food as well. And I've got a sweet tooth, so I always have chocolate biscuits or something like this with them.
We did used to do that.
And I like cheese.
When we were during lockdown, when we did the monthly
Yeah.
virtual tastings, we always sent out the foods to pair in advance.
We did lots of stuff like that in the venues. Food pairings, they're very popular. But I'm just saying that there is a line of thought that if you want to appreciate the whiskey fully, then you might not want to. So whatever suits you better.
Great.
Or you could stick it in a cocktail.
I'm all for it.
Indeed.
We should wrap up maybe with a reminder that it's not just about the whiskey. I love Armagnac. We've got a brilliant Armagnac coming out, A 4.7. You say it, Mads. I'm not even going to try and say that.
Pour ces beaux moments.
Oh, there you go.
Wonderful.
With my sticky
How
finger.
would you have tackled that one, Callum?
Oh, you should have asked me first, and then that would have been you got the answer. Pour ces bons moments.
Oh,
But that's only because I've heard her say it.
not bad.
Not pure says beaux moments.
His beau moments.
Beaux moments. Aye, this is a pure beau moment. Pour says Armagnac and all that.
I think you could have some beau moments with this.
For these beautiful moments. That's what it translates as.
Oh.
Armagnac, I think maybe an underrated spirit. Everyone knows about, well, at least they've heard of cognac. They might not have heard so much about Armagnac. It's a more kind of rustic expression, similar to cognac, but to me it's just got a wee bit more attitude.
Yeah.
It's a wee bit more rustic, isn't it?
And I think as well with this one, it's on this tasting note in particular, what sprung out at me was it talks about morning skiing in the Alps, and then it talks about this type of German biscuit that you get in your Frankfurt, I promise I can speak, called Bettmännchen, which is like a gingerbread biscuit.
Okay.
And it's really Christmassy and lovely and spicy, and that just made me want to try it. But I love Armagnac. It's a great after dinner drink. It's also really good in a cocktail. So I was making a hazelnut old fashioned recently,
Nice.
and I didn't have rye. So what to use instead of rye, I used one of our Armagnacs, and it was beautiful.
Nice.
Nice.
But you should have made one for us today, man.
Yeah.
A little bit disappointed.
Well, I didn't know. I
Could have
didn't
done with
know that. Yeah. Plus, we're not
So-
opening this one.
French. You speak French?
Yes.
How do you speak French? Not how do you speak French? When did you learn to speak French?
Uh,
Because you have German heritage.
I'm German and American.
There you go.
Dad lived in France. Moved there when I was 10.
Right, so you just spent quite a lot of time in France.
Spent a lot of time. And then just kind of absorbed it, studied it a bit, not at university, but at high school, and yeah, just being in the country, you pick up a lot.
I would.
Natural ability.
Naturally,
Calum.
yeah. I have none of
Do you
that.
get any languages?
Nope. Je ne comprends pas.
Désolé.
Désolé.
I can say, c'est bon.
Yeah, but you do have a bit of Spanish, don't you?
I do have a bit of Spanish.
Yeah.
I would say my German's better than my French.
Yeah. Cool.
But speaking another language and doing whiskey in another language is really hard, actually.
Do I get to ask a question before we wrap it up?
Well, I'm just going to say, you can ask your question in a wee minute. I'm going to say there's Armagnac available, which is spectacular. We've got some really lovely gins coming out if you want to get your gin stocked up before Christmas. We've got a couple of rye whiskies, Finnish rye, a US rye. So lots to choose from. Obviously, whiskey galore, but much more than that.
Fill your boots.
Fill your boots, get stuck in, it's all good. Right, now you can ask
My
your
question's pretty late. Tame is probably a better word.
Tame. Good.
Tame, yeah. It's
Tame's
nothing,
good.
because you were a bit worried. Do you remember your first whiskey or first memorable whiskey
I was
experience?
going to say your first. What's he going to say?
Richard.
Yes, I do.
You'd have to tell us about it.
Yeah, first single malt or
Oh, no, just first whiskey experience, I suppose.
first
Or,
whiskey.
And yeah.
Well, like first whiskey memory is not of me drinking the whiskey, but my grandpa in the US loves blended Scotch, so just a memory of kind of a glass
It's
with
funny how
ice
that
in
is.
it, and
It's quite a familiar memory for people
Yeah,
of our generation. Yeah.
but my own first whiskey experience, not so great. I was turning 22. I was in Glasgow and I'd never really had a whiskey, and one of my friends was like, "Oh, it's your birthday. You need to have a whiskey." Lafroig, 10-year-old.
Not a starter.
Not a
is it?
starter
Not a
whiskey. A lot of people
starter
do make that
whiskey.
mistake. They think that's what I need to go for.
Yeah, and I did drink it, but I was a bit like, funny because I actually quite enjoy peated whiskey now.
Yeah, you need to work your way up to that one, I think.
Yeah, and then I think the first like proper whiskey was a Dalmore that my dad bought me.
Nice.
Starter whiskey.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
more like
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
And that was special because he said, "Oh, you need to have a whiskey at home to welcome anyone." Of course, I'm a student, and at that point I was drinking cognac, which actually is also not a student who
That
drinks.
sounds very fancy, doesn't
It
it?
does
For a student to
sound
drink
very
cognac.
fancy.
We are.
Must have been a few people rolling their eyes.
Yeah,
There's mad
sorry.
about cognac.
Sorry. Well, but so I had this whiskey, and the bottle was beautiful, and I never really offered it to my friends because I didn't think they'd appreciate it
No.
at the time. But yeah, great whiskey.
Awesome.
Both of them were. So.
Yeah. Well, here's to that.
And that's
Right.
what leads us here today.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what leads us here today. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Calum. Thank you, Matt.
Cheers. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy your November Outturn, and we'll see you next month.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Cheers.